Hello and welcome to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Grand Arena Championships, Season 29, Week 2, Round 3. My name is Boma Fett. At the time of filming, I was 4-1. This was recorded the last day of my vacation, and so there's no voiceover with it. I'm going to do voiceover after the fact. Let's see who my opponent was. Nitsua. Let's go to the hotbot for a quick comparison. The hotbot shows a bit more green on my side than red on Nitsua's side, but Nitsua has the red in some very important areas. So let's zoom in and take a closer look. The GAC stats show that Nitsua is a very strong GAC player with a best score over 51k in the old system and lifetime banners near 900k. So this is a strong GAC player. And look at those undersized. Over 1,500 undersized wins. That means Nitsua is probably an efficiency player. Nitsua's overall GP is almost 500,000 more than mine, including about 150,000 more in the top 80. Nitsua has a few more Zetas than I have. I have one more Omicron and a touch more speed at the top of my roster. Nitsua has 15 more Gear 13 characters. I have a few more Gear 12 and Gear 11 and above. I've got 23 more 6-dot mods, and I do have more mods with high-speed secondaries. Nitsua has over 140 more total relic levels, 464 to 322, including about double the number characters tier 5 and above. In the Galactic Legends, it is 4-2. Nitsua usually puts 2 on defense and keeps 2 for offense. Nitsua also has Starkiller, as well as Gear 11 and both Zetas on Sortie, and all 3 Zetas on a Gear 10 Grand Inquisitor. So I could definitely be in for seeing some very interesting squads on defense here. In the key characters, Maul, Gideon, and Bad Batch Echo are under-geared. Gear 9 on Maul and Gideon, and Gear 10 on Bad Batch Echo. But they do all have their Zetas. And in the important ships, we do have a 7-star Executor. So let's go back to the game and take a look at the board. In the top zone, I set First Order, Beskar Mando, Sith Triumvirate, and Dash Rendar. In the bottom zone, I've got JTR, Maul, Darth Revan, and Qui-Gon Jinn. In the back zone, I've got CLS with a Datacron, Dengar with a Datacron, and Dooku. Nitsua set Rolo, Geos, Talzin, and Darth Revan. In the bottom zone, we've got 2 Galactic Legends here. So we've got Grievous, Rey, Mothma, and SLKR. And 3 of these squads could have Datacrons, but don't. So Nitsua cleared my squad zones, but only a 1309 means there must be some dropped battles. So in the bottom zone, we've got a drop battle against JTR and 2 drop battles against Qui-Gon Jinn. In the back zone, 1 shot against each of those squads. And in the top zone, 2 against Kylo Ren and 2 against Dash Rendar. So Nitsua was not clean against my defense at all. And then failed once against the Executor. So they probably were waiting to see what I did against their defense, and then they'd come back and try and clean up the fleets. So I started in the bottom zone against Rey, and I went back and forth on whether I wanted to use Jedi Master Luke or Jedi Master Kenobi. And after checking the statistics on SWGOH GAC, I eventually opted for Kenobi. Now, because I wanted to save some characters for Padme, I did go a little bit light here by taking in Barriss Offee as my 5th. With no pre-taunt on the other side, I was able to immediately get rid of Finn, so that was very nice. And then I had to get rid of the taunt on Holdo, and once I had done that, then I was after Rey, trying to get her into damage immunity before she got to her ultimate. She did get off a whirlwind, but everybody on my squad was okay. And I did get her into damage immunity before she got into her ultimate. I decided to pop my ultimate just before she popped hers. That would keep me in the high ground for a while. It may seem like a waste to be in the high ground while she's in her ultimate stance, just doing 1 damage against each of her characters. But this way, when she comes out of ult, I'm already in the high ground, and I can go straight after her, ignore the taunt from Holdo. She did get another whirlwind, which got my GK kind of close to death there. It put him in the yellow, so I put the damage immunity on him, and then we took out Rey. Once she's gone, there's not much threat left here. I would have to put each of them into damage immunity, and then wait for them to come out of damage immunity before I could kill them. So while that's a little annoying, it does give my squad time to heal up, and I end with a 74. Against SLKR, I took in Jedi Master Luke. The only question was whether I should take Jedi Revan as my 5th, so that I could mark and get around the taunts. And in the end, I decided that that was probably a good idea, and I could use Bastila to lead my other Jedi. So this is pretty standard fare. Start off with an Efflux. Give the Master's Training to Jedi Knight Luke. Swap turn with Jedi Knight Luke and let him stun the opponents. Try and knock down turn meter with Old Ben. And then get rid of Red Trooper. Now calling Luke in order to get through the tanks, because Luke does extra damage against the tanks. We marked Hux to get rid of him. And we get it down to just SLKR. And we chew through him relatively easily, and a 63. Against Grievous, I took Wampa. There's nothing remarkable about this. Ever since the Omicron came out, I think a lot of people are doing this. You just let the Wampa do a lot of counterattacking. You keep building up his offense with the roar, putting the healing immunity on the opponents. It is annoying to get stuck behind the Droideca's damage immunity, but using the AoE, I was able to kill the B2. keep roaring, keep building up that offense, keep counterattacking. Eventually, Droideka will lose that damage immunity, and when that happens, I should be able to just one-shot or two-shot the Droideka. So there it is, and one-shot the Droideka. This was a pretty tough Grievous. It took me several womps to get this Grievous down, but my Wampa was never in danger of going down. 68 banners there. And now we have Mothma. It is a fully relic squad, which can make the Iden counter a little bit sketchy. But because there was no Cara Dune in there, I decided to give this a try. Now with Biggs on the other side, there's going to be the back and forth and back and forth. With Kyle Katarn over there, he could certainly one-shot one of my characters. But there's no tank there, so I could focus on Kyle Katarn. If you don't know how this battle goes, seeing it stretch on and on can definitely be worrisome. But if you can time your kills correctly with the Terminate from the Death Trooper, like here on Kyle Katarn, then you don't have to worry about Mothma rezzing anyone. And really, Katarn is the big concern. He's got the one big hit that can one-shot your characters. Nobody else is going to do that much damage in one hit. Their damage comes from all of the assisting that they do. And those assists just heal up your characters. So yeah, it takes a while. And yes, Mothma can res some characters from time to time if you don't get them terminated or you don't use the death mark on them. So here I switched off of Wedge because I wanted to kill Wedge with the Terminate. And so here we go, killed him with the Terminate, now he can't come back. We get rid of Lando, and again, not with the Terminate, so he can still come back. But instead, Mothma elects to bring in the summoned unit, and that's fine. Now we're just trying to stun or daze Biggs so that he doesn't keep shooting back. And we get that done, and 65 banners. We've got a very light back zone with Phoenix, Ewoks, and Karth. Starting with Emphas Nest against the Ewoks. Just select the Elder and put it on auto. There's no Logray on the other side, so I don't have to worry about Nest getting dazed. So this will be quick and easy as Nest just counterattacks them to death. That's an easy 68. I decided to switch back to the front zone. And against Darth Revan. I was very tempted here to try my bounty hunters again, or to try my Imperial troopers. This seemed like a good Revan squad to try that against, but in the end I decided against it. I decided to just go with gas. I knew it was not going to be a high banner win, but I didn't need it to be. I put my level 5 Datacron on there, even though not everyone on the squad is level 5. After clearing the taunt, we go after Bastila Fallen. And didn't quite get her down before she got a turn, unfortunately. So we got rid of Sith Empire Trooper, but then we were stuck behind Malic's taunt. And they end up making Skywalker kneel, but not before I get rid of Malik on a counterattack. They get the sacrifice, and then I take out Bastila. Then goes HK, and then Skywalker is back up to take care of Revan. So only 58 banners, but he dropped a bunch of battles, so banners were not a real big concern for me. Against the Geos, of course, I went with Palpatine and Vader. Could have gone even more undersized, but decided to stick with the core 4. Force Crush, Merciless, Goodbye Spy, basics against Poggle and Soldier, Force Crush on the Brute, Goodbye Alpha, basic on Sunfac, basic on the Brute. Swap turns back to Vader to heal his protection. Goodbye Brute, and goodbye Sunfac. Easy 66 there. Like I said, I could have gone even more undersized. Against the Gear 12 Night Sisters, this is an easy one for the Imperial Troopers. Once again, you get the turn meter train rolling, and they simply will not get a turn. So I was a little concerned seeing Acolyte there. What if she goes stealth? But I've got the AoEs to take care of her, number one. And number two, she's never going to get a turn, so she's never going to go stealth. So there you go. The AoE just took her out. Goodbye Daka. Goodbye Zombie. 65 banners. Versus Rolo, I took in my Bounty Hunters. Roar with Bosk. Then Mass Assist. And Mass Assist again. Get both Leias stunned. Take out Cara Dune so she can't taunt. And Captain Han won't be able to bring her back. Roll out the thermals. Then we go after Captain Han. Get him stunned as well. Then back after Rolo. Double up her thermals. And unfortunately, Rolo did get an AoE off, but it didn't do a whole lot of damage. And because of the banner recovery with Aura Singh's lead, it shouldn't really affect the outcome here. We're stuck behind Old Ben's taunt now. And Rollo was brought back again, but easy enough to get rid of. We finally get rid of Captain Han. We delete Old Ben, and then it's just Leia remaining. My squad has recovered all of their health and protection, so this should be an easy 65. Back to the back zone, and against Phoenix. I toyed with the idea of a Grievous solo, but in the end, I decided to go with Grievous, Magna, and the battle droids. We start off with an AoE, and because I'm stealth, they won't hit back. And an AoE from Grievous takes out everybody but Kanan. So unfortunately, I do lose a couple of banners there because of protection. Not so much because of Kanan counterattacking, but more because of Grievous's leadership doing damage to his own droids. So then we just have Karth left. So I take in Bastila and some Jedi. This is completely overkill. But again, I'm not really concerned about banners at this point. We just let Yoda and Ezra go to town. Just one-shots here and one-shots there. And a quick, easy 65. So 14-11 going into the fleet zone. Once again, going to try the two-shot against the Executor. This was really reliable the first few times I tried it, and then all of a sudden it became very unreliable. And I'm not quite sure what exactly changed. But part of the issue has been that the Executor has been killing off my burner ships before the Houndstooth taunts. So I thought by taking in Dash Rendar's ship, the Outrider, that might help my ship survive a little bit longer so that we could get through the Houndstooth's taunt. But as you'll see, that plan did not work. I've got to go with an even better ship. So once again, I did not get the Houndstooth's taunt out of the way. In spite of that, I went in with the home one. So there is the taunt. And they go straight after the Falcon, and the Falcon barely survived. Instead of doing the AoE, I decided to dispel the buffs on the Falcon. And once the Xanadu became available, I went straight after the Xanadu. was able to get the Xanadu down pretty quickly, so I was pleased with that. Then I went after IG with the AoE and the called assists, and I almost got IG out. And after clearing the taunt off of Houndstooth, I was able to get rid of IG. And then I went for the shield disruptor, and it did not land. So I brought in the Phoenix ship. I did a big hit against the Razor Crest. And then they get rid of Biggs. So I'm down to 1 tank now. They've got their contract, so I am definitely in trouble. I brought in Cassian and called the assists against the Houndstooth. I really wanted to go Razor Crest, but because of the taunt, I had to go Houndstooth. But I'm able to work through the Houndstooth pretty well here, and then they get their ultimate. And that just messed stuff up for me. So it was looking good for a few moments, and then it wasn't. I did manage to land the shield disruptor, but the Houndstooth cleansed it immediately. So 2 ships down, 3 to go. Now the question was, could I clear these other 2 fleets with what I have left and leave myself enough to go after the Executor? And I just didn't think I was going to be able to. Because he has Rey, the Radis fleet is going to be good. So I went ahead and took my Malevolence against the Radis. They're a very frustrating fleet on defense with all of the foresight that they get, all of the dodging that they do. I went straight after Rey's Millennium Falcon. But because of all the dodging, I didn't get her down as quickly as I wanted. I brought in the spy, and I just went straight after Rey. And so that's how I got Rey down. She's the real big threat on the other side, although the X-Wings can hit hard as well. But I was stuck behind the taunt on the Star Fortress. And once again, we've got so much dodging on the other side. It's so frustrating. So frustrating. Even when they don't have foresight, they just dodge a ton. They took out my Sunfac. Finally able to get the Star Fortress down. Able to put out more buzz droids. Thankfully, they were not really working too much on my Hyena bomber. Brought in the soldier who calls assists. So now we're down to 2 ships. We're able to get through the X-Wing pretty quickly. In comes Wedge. So we've just got the Ebon Hawk and Wedge now. I get my ultimate. Down goes the Ebon Hawk. And down goes Wedge. So 70's not great banners, but it's okay. I'm okay with that. Against the Malevolence, I took my Negotiator, and this is an unusual Malevolence lineup with the bugs all starting. Now I did toy with going in short-handed here in order to save myself some ships to go against the Executor, but in the end I decided I needed to get this down. Better safe than sorry, and I did take in 3 reinforcements. Start off with the AoE against the Spy and get rid of the Spy right off the bat. We put the debuffs on Sunfax so that he can't taunt. Not that it matters because Soldier was in stealth. I didn't think my characters needed any healing, so I brought in Ahsoka instead of Plo Koon here, and I just stayed on Sunfac. Even though Soldier was available to be attacked, I just wanted to get rid of Sunfac. So now finally, the Hyena Bomber comes out. And now it looks like I was a genius saving Plo Koon. That isn't why I saved Plo Koon, but it turned out to be a good thing because now I could bring in Plo Koon and I could clear those buzz droids. So here comes Plo Koon. Goodbye buzz droids. And goodbye Hyena Bomber. So 72 banners there. And now one last try at the Executor with the dregs of my fleets. And as you might have guessed, this did not stand a chance here. So once again, failure, failure, failure on the Executor. And all Nitsua had to do was come back and clear my fleet zone, and he would win. So let's see what happened. So with just under 5 minutes left in the attack phase, I went in, and no fleets are cleared. So I took a look, and Nitsua was in progress on my Executor. So I waited and waited and waited to see what would happen. And time ticked down and ticked down and ticked down. And you can see that just after time expired, the Executor went down and the Finalizer came up. So he spent his final minutes taking out my Executor, and he didn't have time to clear my other 2 fleets. He knew he had to clear all 3 in order to win. He just didn't leave himself enough time. So the final result was 1557 to 1348. I'd like to thank Nitsua for the match, and thank you all for watching. I will see you next round.